Hey, what's up? How you doing? Hope your day's going great. So today we're going to continue with my previous video, my first DMT experience. So basically this will be part 2. And if you haven't watched part 1, please go ahead and watch that one and continue with this one. It'll probably make a lot more sense as to what I'm talking about. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. Alright, so without wasting any more time, let's get on with the story. In this video, I'm going to share my second time I've tried DMT, which was the most amazing experience of my life. After that night, the first night I did the DMT, we all went out, had food, had drinks, and ended the night. We all had fun, and all night, I was just thinking about the DMT experience I had earlier, and I was so anticipating on trying it later on. We planned on what we should do the next day and go about our separate ways. It was kind of late, so I was thinking maybe I should try this DMT tomorrow. But I was so curious and anticipating all night. Also, all I had was one drink pretty much all night, and I was pretty sober by the time I got home. So screw it, I told myself, and began to prepare everything. Now, I make sure everything is set up so as to not burn anything down after the hit, because I know after I take that hit, my world is going to be somewhere in La La Land. I also realized earlier when I took the hit, it was only a half a hit. So this time I told myself, I'm gonna take a huge hit. And also my friend Pete told me, take at least 2 hits. But the way I felt after a half a hit earlier that day, I don't think I was capable of taking 2 hits. So one huge hit was gonna be. Now I'm ready to take this huge hit. But before I do, I set everything up in front of me and on the table and thinking, once I take this hit, I'm gonna put everything down, lean back, and see what happens. So as I proceed to pack about twice the amount that my friend Pete gave me, and I start torching this pipe. And once I see the vapor, I start inhaling. And honestly, it tasted so bad, it was like taking a pill, crushing it up, and just putting it into your mouth. But I inhaled as much as I could, then I put everything down, making sure not to burn anything. And all of a sudden, my world turned upside down. It was so much more intense than the first time, because now everything just went dark, not just blurry, but dark, like I went blind. The first initial thought was, wow, that was way too big of a hit. And then I remembered, oh, wait a minute, maybe I should lean back on the couch. Just as I started to lean back, all I saw was huge, bright mass of colors all around me. No shapes or anything, just blurs of colors that seemed to just get brighter and brighter, which then all of a sudden, it just engulfs me into its colors. And I felt that same feeling as before when I first took that hit earlier that day, like I was getting sucked through a vacuum tube at light speed. Was I going through a wormhole? Was it a portal? I definitely went somewhere, literally mind, body, and soul, because the experience felt so real, like I was actually there. So as I was going through this wormhole, which felt like it had lasted for hours, then all of a sudden, I came to a complete stop, ending up in a huge mosaic colored cavern or a cave of some sort. I mean, the place was huge, massive. There was no end in sight to this place, and there were colors everywhere. Also, if you know caves, there's stalagmites, stalactites, and these things were made of some sort of weird glowing minerals, which in the far distance I can see probably like hundreds of dwarf looking people that were harvesting these minerals. As I was standing there, just in awe of all the colors, looking at the glowing minerals, and right behind me, and I might add, it scared the crap out of me, walks past one of these dwarf people. He walks right past me like I'm not even there. And then all of a sudden, he turns around and looks right at me, dead in the eyes. And then he starts pointing up with his fingers, telling me, look up into the sky. I was thinking, there's no sky in here, we're in a cave. But then as I slowly looked up in hesitation, it looked like a clear blue sky with some patches of clouds, and I can actually see some sun rays peeping out throughout these clouds. It was the craziest sight ever. I was in a cave, but the ceiling was an open, beautiful sky. As I'm looking at these bright sun rays, the sky starts to part like someone had slid it open with a sharp knife, and out of nowhere, just like the dwarf did, appears this beautiful, kind of angelic, all white glowing female with wings floating right above me. right above my head. I had to look straight up at her, practically like 90 degrees. Then all of a sudden, she reaches out with both hands and then grabs me by the face. It wasn't aggressive or anything, it felt very gentle. She then asks me, "Are you ready?" And just as I was about to ask her, "Ready for what?" she starts floating higher and higher and starts to fly while still grasping my head. And I literally felt like I was flying with her. It didn't hurt or anything, but I felt her hands, her fingers on my face, my cheeks, and even my ears. So as she takes me and flies through these caverns, I wanted to ask her where we were. And before I even started to ask her, she answers me telepathically, "It's okay." I'm thinking, what? What's okay? Then again, she replies, "It's okay." I had so many questions for her as to where I was and why I was here and how I even got here. And every time she would answer telepathically, "It's okay." I realized maybe I need to communicate with her telepathically as well. And when I ask her, "Do I belong here?" she then all of a sudden takes me and shoots straight up to the sky, so high up and so fast, almost at an instant. And then she lets go of me. I feel myself falling, and then she's telepathically still communicating with me and tells me, "It's okay, life is." And I open my eyes in fear of hitting the ground, but then I realize I'm back on the couch, leaning back. Everything in the room seemed to be shimmering with light reflecting off of it. I try to gain my senses and try to focus on things around the room, and I realize I'm back. Wow, what a trip, I thought to myself. The experience felt so real. Was I actually there? Somehow it took a chemical compound and led me to a portal? And is it the substance that's able to open that portal? Or was it just my imagination? Honestly, I'm not sure. But what I did get from it is that now I feel so much happier, less anxious. I still worry a lot about meager things, but I can still manage way better than before my DMT trip. I feel like I have a little more patience, a lot more open with people, and just happier in general. And after that last trip, I really don't have another desire to try DMT again. But maybe later on in the future, I probably will. Well, that's it from what I can remember, and I try to make it as accurate as possible for you, but honestly, the trip was really intense. And that's about all I can recall from this experience. There were a lot more visuals, but trying to explain everything I saw would probably take days to talk about. Well, that's it from what I remember. So if you enjoyed this video and haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. And now probably later on in a future video, talk about the time when I took 7 grams of mushrooms when I was in college. Well, okay, that's it. And in conclusion, please be good to yourselves, be good to others, and please stay safe. All right, until the next one, I'll see ya.